Today I'm going to be showing how to test the integrity of your RAM, otherwise known as random access memory. So I'm assuming most people know what RAM actually does. So if your RAM is working properly, it should be able to keep track of the random access patterns sent to and from it, hence its name random access memory. And there really should not be any errors associated when the RAM tries to go to different areas of your RAM. So when it's trying to connect to different sections of memory, you should not be getting any errors. And there also should really not be any conflicts between the different memory addresses you might have on your RAM sticks. So to begin, we're actually going to use a third-party application referred to as Memory Test 86 Plus. Please keep in mind you have to have a removable media device or some sort of external media to download and run this tool off of, because the whole purpose of it is to isolate the RAM on your computer so that you cannot take that into account when performing the test. So we're going to just start by downloading the tool online. So once you head over to Google, what we're going to do is type in mem test 86, and it should say official site of the 86-bit memory testing tool, or times 86. So you want to left click on that. On the right side here, you want to left click on this button that says download now. So if you go to the third option or third section of this page at the time of this recording, it says we have free edition downloads here. So there's a couple different downloads for Windows and two different ones for Linux and Macintosh computers as well. The nice thing about memtest 86 is it actually lets you download an ISO file, which can be great if you want to burn it to a CD or DVD. Since I'm in a virtual machine here, I believe an ISO format would be a little bit simpler. So I'm going to select that. So the first option, but you can also do a USB device as well. It's not limited to just a CD-ROM. And then you just still follow along with the directions of this tutorial. So anyway, we can see the tool finished downloading. So I'm going to open it up. Depending on what web browser you're using, it might say run or open. Just keep that in mind. So then I see I have an ISO file here, and we also have a text file that says readme. So we're going to open up the readme text file. So we see there's a couple of instructions here. It says that you have a standalone memory testing software for 86-bit computers. And some of you guys might be wondering, since it has 86 in the name, is it 64-bit compatible? The answer is most certainly yes, because we are booting outside of the operating system. Whatever compatibility you might have, 64-bit or 32-bit, it becomes pretty much irrelevant for the purpose of this tutorial. So it should be compatible with pretty much any computer that has RAM that this tool will scan. So very nice to know that. So with that out of the way, we see you just need to have a computer and a CD drive. Creating a bootable CD, using the CD burning software available in your system to create a CD-ROM using the ISO image. So please keep in mind you actually have to use CD burning software. I'm not going to go through that part in this tutorial. It'll pretty much vary on what software you're using to burn the ISO file to a CD or DVD. And for the purpose of my tutorial, I can actually boot the virtual machine directly from this ISO file. So I'm not going to show that in this tutorial. So just keep that in mind. You're going to have to burn it to a DVD or CD on your own, because that's a different video altogether. But you can see that it supports dual booting on UEFI and BIOS platforms as well. And then you would just follow similar directions if we were going to download the other one for the USB sticks. So for example, if we go back to the website and we clicked on the bootable USB drive, it would give us more of an option to actually install it onto the USB flash drive. So now if I went under image usb.exe and double clicked on that, This one more or less follows along with specific instructions on how to install it, whereas the ISO file was more or less just burning the ISO file to a CD or DVD. And you see this is pretty straightforward. At that point you would just select which USB drive you wanted to select. You would write the image to the USB drive, select the first option, which would probably be the best, and then you would just left click on this right button right here. So like 1, 2, 3 easy steps to follow. But like I said, I'm going to do with this ISO file. So I'm going to restart the computer and boot to what would otherwise be known as a CD or DVD drive. So I'm just going to try to access my boot settings. And once I get to the boot options menu, I will be right back. Okay, so I have my virtual machine basically connected to the ISO file, which in most of your guys' case, so you would just have put the CD or DVD into your computer. Or if you have a USB flash drive, I believe you'd just be restarting your computer as well at this point. So while the computer is restarting, we're going to try and enter our boot settings. Okay, so underneath the boot menu, because we can say that I burnt the ISO file to a CD or DVD, I'm going to scroll down using my arrow keys on my keyboard until I get to the CD-ROM drive entry, and then I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard. Okay, so now we see there's a few different options here. We see there are two different available versions, and it'll begin to scan pretty much instantaneously. So just be patient, this will take a while to run. It should run at least 8 passes in order to be shown to be credible or have credible results, because you have to have consecutive passes in order to see what exactly is going on with your RAM. Now please keep in mind that there's a couple different factors we have to factor in here. The one would be that you might have a couple different DIMM slots, meaning if you have 8 gigabytes of RAM on a desktop computer, you probably have 2 memory slots, and doesn't necessarily mean both slots are bad. So we're just going to let this tool run here for a little while. It will take some time to run, so just be patient. And once it is done, I will be right back. Hello everyone, I'm back. So we can see that the first pass has finished scanning here. So we can see that pass 1 is finished and there were no errors associated down here. Instead of saying pass complete, no errors, underneath this section, underneath the time and everything, it'll just tell you different information regarding which test number different errors would be listed under. If you did receive errors after any of the 8 tests, it would show up under here. And it would tell you which pass it was detected at, which address, whether or not it was bad or not. And there's a couple different things you can take away from that. If we have 2 DIM slots, it should be pretty easy to distinguish which slot might be bad. If you only have 1 DIM slot, it's pretty easy to figure out that you have an issue. So if once you're done determining that, if you have any issues after any of the 8 passes, you can pretty much stop the test and then trying to replace the RAM in the memory slot that is being shown as producing an error. So in the end, if you do replace one of the RAM sticks and you put a new one in its place and you're still getting an error, it's more than likely your motherboard is having issues. The only good news is if you have 2 DIM slots, you can technically get away without using the one and just use the other slot. But it's definitely not a great plan, especially considering how it's all tied to your motherboard and you're still relying on that with one of the slots obviously appearing to be faulty. So I would just keep that in mind as well, and it's probably time to maybe get a new motherboard. But if you do receive an error alert and you can stop the test and you replace the RAM and everything's good to go, it was more than likely caused by the RAM stick. So I hope this tutorial pretty much helped you guys out. I would continue this video for a little bit longer, however, I really have to head out. So I'm going to kind of conclude the video here. But pretty much, hopefully it'll just say pass complete, no errors found once you get up to the 8th pass or beyond. You can run more passes if you want to. It kind of becomes a little bit redundant after maybe 20 or so. You can run it overnight if you wanted to. This was just a brief example of how to get it started. And hopefully in your guys' case, you will not have a RAM issue or even worse, a motherboard issue. So just keep that in mind. Again, this is MD Tech, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I will catch you in the next video. Goodbye.